dual citizens convicted of terrorism should have their Australian citizenship revoked. So just a bit of background on this. There was a couple of incidences of people going and joining ISIS. I think that's what's in the back of this particular question. So we'll start with Sharad this time.
Oh, sorry. Did you call my name? I just missed that.
Yes. Sorry.
Yes. I don't think anyone should be revoked of their citizenship. Sorry, of their citizenship. I'm sorry. And even dual citizens, I think, even if they get convicted of terrorism, I don't think they should have their citizenship revoked. I would say I would just give like two reasons for this. One is that convictions are not set in stone. People make mistakes all the time. So someone who might be convicted as a terrorist today might not be really be, or there might be serious doubts on how valid that conviction could be. So I think as long as the appeal process is going on, even if the appeal process finishes, just because the Supreme Court of a country judges something, it doesn't mean that that is set in stone for all time immemorial. So I don't think we should take away people's rights, already existing rights, based on based on convictions. So that's one argument I can offer. And the other thing is that, say for example, someone is a terrorist today, they might have a change of heart sometime in the future. And if your citizenship is going to provide, an opportunity for that, for someone to have a change of heart or change of belief, I would rather call it change of belief and change of political conviction, then I think that should be allowed. So I don't think people convicted of terrorism should have their Australian citizenship revoked. Yeah, I don't think this should happen. Maybe whether eligibility to run for a political office is something that's a different matter.
Of course.
But I don't think they should have the citizenship revoked.
Awesome. Thank you. Aditya?
I think for me, this question itself is biased because it says about people of having dual citizenship. What if a person who is born and brought up here, and if he commits terrorism, would you also not own him? That is a problem for me here. No, this is very biased of people having the dual citizenship. If you have to screen some people, you better screen the time of citizenship, what the backgrounds are, and accordingly you give them citizenship. And also, if they after you give citizenship and then they turn into terrorism, I think there is also a place for the government to introspect themselves that what things in the society had moved them to terrorism. So this is partly I blame the government also if someone after the citizenship turning into terrorist, but this is very, very biased question for me. This question should not exist at all. It should not be treated people having dual citizenship differently than anyone who's born and brought up here. So I strongly
Moreover,
disagree.
this looks like a caning, agenda. It looks like you want to punish someone. Or what's the point of? I mean, say for example, someone's citizenship is revoked. What purpose is it going to serve? I mean, it's not like there are hordes of Australian citizens who are going to ISIS and again voting here or turning some tide here. It's not happening in that manner, right?
Yeah, and it's not like its citizenship is a limited number, right? There's no cap on it. As many people can be citizens as possible. So I think you're right. There's a bit of a fallacy in the question itself. Sorry, Aditya, you were about to say something.
You can easily run into slippery slope as well. I can offer an argument that, why is it just dual citizens convicted of terrorism? Why not, domestic abusers? Why not? Do you want people, do you want wife beaters, or do you want people who engage in crime, violent crime? What about serial killers?
Yeah.
One more point, let's say that you have Australian citizenship and let's say have an Indian citizenship, even though India does not allow the dual citizen for the sake of argument. Let's say Australia has got this law of having the citizenship revoked if they are committed to terrorism. Let's say also India has got some kind of this law. So if both revoke my citizenship, where do I belong to? I mean,
I think international law makes it important that there should be no stateless person. So you can't have, and that's a nice example, but you can imagine that you are dual citizen because a European country has allowed. India doesn't, but to make it a real example, let's say you're Australian and UK citizen, and both countries say, no, you can't be our citizen. Where do they go? it's wrong. I mean, what you don't do for a single citizenship person, you should not do for a dual citizenship person. As simple as that. The punishment for the crime is already there. Look, if you're on a visa in the country, you might deport that person. And that is something to understand. But revoking of citizenship as part of the penal code, I don't know. It's already punished through imprisonment, depriving somebody of freedom. Citizenships also give you rights. No right is a privilege. So by taking away a citizenship, you've deprived them of some rights. So the process is wrong. And like you said, the question seems a very odd question.
Yeah, it's keeping in mind a very specific terrorist. So yeah, so I think we all strongly disagree.
I think even in cases where someone gets deported because of criminal activity, that the deportation is usually done because of extradition. So because they want
That's
to,
right.
because this person has to face justice or face charges in some other country. It's generally happens in that context. There is no point. I mean, this just a meaningless thing to ask for.
Yeah, I think there's a certain lobby group that holds citizenship as a bit of a prized possession of some sort, meaningless in a meaningless way. So yeah, I think we move on to the next one. Number 14, more water needs to be preserved to protect the environment, even if this means less water is available for farming.